Hello, boys and girls, students of all ages. Welcome to another Society and Culture lesson. This is lesson 4, so we are going to be looking here at kind of a big overview of society and culture in terms of our interactions with different things in our own culture and society. So we're going to be working on lesson 4 today. So at the front of your books, you'll give that a highlight. The 2 dot points, we're going to look at 2 dot points today, is an overview of the multicultural and hybrid nature of societies and cultures. It's pretty bloody blah stuff. We'll just do that kind of normally. But this 2nd dot point is the main important one. So persons and their interactions with groups, individuals and the community within the context of micro, meso and macro. So they're the main concepts we're going to look at today. So please highlight those, date them, and I can see here it's on page 15, so we're going to go on down to page 15. Here we are, lesson 4. So the first activity I want you guys to do, you've done these on your course concept cards, so you should have a good understanding of micro, meso and macro and what they mean. For a quick refresher, micro are all the interactions that happen in our really close inner circle, which I kind of got represented here. So things like our family, friends, and ourself, all of those are micro level interactions. So if I have dinner with my wife and my dog, that is a micro level interaction. Okay, if I was to have dinner with my friends, that would still be a micro level interaction because they're within my close inner circle. Okay, if I was to have a Skype dinner with everyone in the whole world, it would be a macro level interaction. Say I went to dinner, like a work dinner, or if you guys went to a party or something, that would be a meso level interaction. So your meso is all the things that are in your community. So things like school, if you have a job, if you're on a sports team, all of those are meso level interactions. Now macro, finally, that is kind of everything else. They're the really big interactions. So say for example, if you're watching the news or international news on TV about stuff happening in America, that's a macro level interaction. If you're engaging with the government, that's a macro level interaction. They're kind of the big scale things. So the way I remember it is that micro is like a microscope. So it's the really small one. You're looking at it, so that's kind of your inner circle. Macro, I think of a Big Mac. The keyword there, big, so it's the biggest. And then I know meso is just in between those two things. So what I want you to do for this activity is identify at least 3 persons in your micro, meso and macro levels that engage or interact with your life. Write them below and then link them with a concept. So what this might look like for you is, just give me a second, insert a text box. Now my formatting is going to go absolutely bonkers here, but just go with me. Alright, so, oh my god, hold on, give me a second, I will get this. Okay, maybe I won't. So what you'll do, I'm just going to talk you through it, so you've got to focus, right? So say micro, I have to identify at least 3 persons. So I might write my wife, 1. I might write my dog, 2. I might write my friends, which is 3. And if you want to go for a 4th, you could write yourself, right? So let's say the concepts, so I might write, so say I've written those 3. Now I have to link them with a concept, right? So say I wrote myself, because I can interact with myself at a micro level. I might write identity, persons, as some concepts that link with those, okay? If I was to write, when I wrote my wife, I might write persons, identity, I might write gender, because wife is a term that you use to describe a female. I might even put culture in there, because marriage is a cultural belief and value. So I want you to link, and then I could even write time if we've been married for however long. So I want you to link sort of the main 2 or 3 concepts that go with and that describe your interaction with that person, okay? If it's your meso world, say you write sports team, or if you do swimming or something, you would write that there. Your concepts you could link with that again might be culture. If it's a sport, it's a behavior and a norm that we do. It might be society. If it's school, for example, school's another one you could write. That would be society, okay, because it's a social institution. You might write authority because you engage with a lot of teachers there. You might write identity because you identify as a student, etc. All that kind of thing I want you to do there, okay? I hope those examples make sense. If not, rewind the video and watch me explain it again. Alright, once you've done that, what I want you to do is go to the next page, and I want you to highlight micro, meso, and macro in different colors. So for example, I might just do that quickly here now. Oh, that's not a very good color. Oh, okay. And then we'll go pink. Boom. Alright, so you've highlighted them in 3 different colors. What I want you to do now is highlight the following people to identify whether they belong in your micro, meso, or macro world. So for example, your BFF, I've got green here. My BFF is probably in my micro world, so is my brother, my dad, etc. If you go then to meso, it might be the Coles checkout chick. I'm not going to do them all for you because I want you guys to do it. And then macro, might be the state premier. It might be Harry Styles. None of you know him at a micro or meso level. Don't pretend like you do. So I want you to go through all of that and highlight the different ones, okay? And then on Friday we'll go through and we'll check which one's right and which ones are wrong, right? I want you to do the exact same thing here, but with institutions, with social institutions. So I just want you guys to be able to apply micro, meso, and macro in different things. So I've got the macro one already highlighted, so it might be something like the United Nations is a macro level. Google, macro level, okay. So I want you to go through each of these ones and tell me what they are, okay? Cool beans. Then question 1, how do macro level I've got to get this highlighter. Okay. How do macro level institutions decisions influence your meso or micro world? I want you to provide an example. So for example, a macro level institution might be the government. You might think of a decision that the government has made that has influenced your meso or micro world. I can think of tons of examples. One might be how COVID, the decision by the state premier to have school last year at home for a few weeks in term 1, that affected my meso world. You need to give me an example of how it did so. So do that here in 2 lines. Then we're going to go and look at continuity and change. So most of the time you guys are going to have word banks. The reason I didn't have word banks when we did this stuff is because it was main concepts and I wanted to 100% get that down and understood. Most of our notes will be in word banks from now on. So what I want you guys to do is, you got the words down here, okay? Read through. Now this not only is fixing your knowledge on what continuity and change is, but it's also helping subliminally your literacy skills, your comprehension and understanding skills, and your writing skills. So all of us are going to be aiming for band 6 in the HSC, and being able to do this will just help us be able to identify concepts and words easier when we see them in an exam scenario. So that's why I'm doing the word banks things. So I want you guys to go through that together and cross them off as you go. And then the last thing I want you to do is I want you to go back to your micro, meso, and macro diagram, which is here. I want you to go back to that and highlight the elements that you think could possibly change in one color, and the ones that are likely to experience continuity in a different color. So if I go back to here, say for example in my micro world, and I've got my wife, that is I mean, fingers crossed, touch wood, that is something I hopefully that will experience continuity, right? So I'm going to highlight that yellow, right? If you say for example picked soccer club here or something, but you know that next year you're not going to do it because you want to focus on your studies or your HSC or whatever, you might highlight that as change, okay? Or in the macro level, if you wrote something like the government and there's an election coming soon, or whatever, you might think that that's likely to change soon, so you'll highlight that in that color. Okay, that's the last thing I want you to do in terms of content. Your summary task for this lesson is to identify an influence from your micro, meso, and macro world and explain how this either brought change or continuity to your life. So I want you to be applying these concepts to your own life, okay? So again, with your summary task, you do them in your big boy book. You write the heading of the lesson. So this will be lesson 4, summary, society and culture. You'll put the syllabus stop points below it as well. And then you'll write your summary, okay? And that, my friends, is lesson 4. Do it.